We started our business for freedom, financial freedom, time freedom, creative freedom. But somewhere along the way, things changed. Instead of feeling free, now you feel trapped. Your business, the thing you built from the ground up, has become a jail cell you can't seem to escape. The constant demands, the never-ending fires, the feeling that if you step away, everything will fall apart. Let's be honest, it's exhausting. And if you're being really honest with yourself, you're not even sure that this is the business you want anymore. Does this sound familiar? If so, you are not alone. And today I want to help you take this critical first step to getting out from underneath your business so you can build something that actually works for you and that can run without you. Can you say hello, worry-free vacation? Welcome back to the Biz Doctor Podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Goldstein, and today we're talking about what I believe is the most important, but sometimes hardest, step for burned out business owners, stepping back and getting clear on the kind of business you actually want. Shall we unlock the key to break you free from the burnout cycle and reclaim control of your business without burning it or yourself to the ground? So here's the first hard truth. You built it, but you can always renovate it. There's this moment of realization that happens for every business owner, even me. I'll never forget that day back in 2018, the day that we realized we've built a self-made prison. But the good news is it's not too late. Here's what I mean. So many business owners accidentally create a business that relies too much on you, said yes to things you probably should have said no to, built systems that worked for the business but didn't work for you, or put differently, built systems for the business you have, not the one you actually want long-term. But it doesn't happen overnight, and it definitely wasn't intentional. So much happens on autopilot, the result of just trying to survive and get through the laundry list of tasks demanding your attention. But now, here you are. Overworked, exhausted, and secretly wondering if you even want to do this anymore. Let me tell you something that might surprise you. That feeling, that frustration, that burnout, that bubbling resentment, it's actually a gift. Because it's your sign that something has to change. And the good news, it's actually not as complicated as you might think. You can change it and kick your business renovation into high gear. And while you're at it, bust yourself out of the big house. But first, you have to take a step back and ask yourself some deep questions. Here's the question that every business owner needs to ask. If you're burned out and stuck, you're probably asking the wrong question. Or as I shared in episode 53, stuck in the how hellhole. Most business owners in this position ask, how do I fix this? But the real question is, what kind of business do I actually want? Do you want a business that can run without you? Do you want a team that's truly autonomous so you're not the bottleneck? Do you want a business that aligns with your life, not one that dictates it? So many entrepreneurs never stop to ask these questions. They just keep pushing forward, hoping it will magically get better. But until you get clear on what you actually want, nothing's going to change. But once you understand the what and by when, then the who will be easy to find to show you the how. But that's a whole different topic for another episode. This, though, is exactly why Dan Martell, who created the buyback principle, says, don't hire to grow your business, hire to free yourself first. Don't hire to grow your business, hire to free yourself first. Because when you free yourself, your business will grow in ways you couldn't have even realized with your busy blinders on. The hard truth is if you keep yourself trapped in the weeds, you'll stay stuck. No matter how much revenue you generate, it will be like pushing a snowball up a hill. So how do we fix this? How do you actually take a step back and start figuring out the business you want? Here are 3 essential steps. First, getting out of the weeds. If you're knee-deep in the day-to-day fires, you're never going to get the clarity you need. You have to take a step out of the weeds, even if it's just for a day or two, and create space to think. So try this. Schedule a CEO day or a weekend away from your business. No emails, no Slack, no client calls, just space to reflect. And ask yourself this. If I were starting over today, what kind of business would I build? The reason I really love this question is because it takes advantage of what Annie Duke, who wrote the book Thinking in Bets, talks about, which is hindsight bias. And this is an interesting moment where we think we made a good decision or a bad decision because we have so much evidence based on where we are. And we're looking back and we're like, oh, I obviously should have made a different decision, but we forget that we made the best decision we could with the information we had at the time. And the only reason it looks different is because time has passed and we've gathered more information that can help mold our decision. So if you ask this question, if I were starting over today, what kind of business would I build? And you take into account the expertise and time that has passed and the business that you've built currently, you can actually answer this question more easily because you have all of the hindsight to help you shape it differently or renovate the business, as I like to say. Bonus tip, a slight variation to this question can also bring you massive clarity on your team by asking this: knowing what I know now, would I hire this person again? I talked about this in one of my most recent podcast episodes, but the reason I love this question is, again, you're looking at hindsight and you're capitalizing on it. And this is especially important if you have anybody on your team that you're just like, I don't know if you're the person that gets to go with us to the next level, or you're struggling with them. It's just a really wonderful question to bring instant clarity and help you be a better leader. The other thing was stepping away. I personally love admin days. It's a simple idea that, honest to God, will most likely double your business and your happiness. I talk about it more in depth in episode 37, but let me whet your palate a little bit now. So admin days is a philosophy, if you will, that I stole from my time in the medical field. It's a day in your business where you work on your business, not in your business. So it's a day to truly make progress and do deep work. What that looks like is, for me, it happens to be Wednesdays. And on Wednesdays, I'm only doing things that are moving my business forward, that high value, deep work that I know is going to make a difference down the road. It's not a time that I sit and I clear out my inbox or, I'm doing all the busy work. It's the time where I don't have any client meetings, any team meetings, anyone, asking me to put out a fire. I'm really just saying, what can I work on to move the business forward? What is the one thing so that I can focus? Hold on. What is the one thing that really needs to happen today to get us either back on track or collapse timelines or create leverage or income? Whatever it needs to be that I have to do and only I can do. That's the key. Yes, there are other things that in theory I could do working on the business, but I really try and make admin days focus on things only I can do, which is another key to delegating, which we can talk about in a different episode. Now, step number 2, redefining success on your terms. So I know as high performers and performative people, a lot of times we look at success about revenue, but it's not about that. Not truly. Especially for building the business that you want. It's about lifestyle. How do you actually want to spend your time? Impact. How do you want your business? No. Impact. What do you want your business to stand for? Autonomy. How much time do you actually want to spend with your business? Now, there's 4 types of business owners. This is also a good reflection point of asking yourself which one you are. To that point, what type of business do you want? Do you want a lifestyle business, a legacy business, one that gets sold to PE, or maybe even a zebra? So if you've never heard of a zebra before, this is a term I learned not too long ago. It's not a lifestyle business, but it's not a unicorn. It's like a B Corp in some ways, where you're focusing on impacting the world in a positive way, but you're not doing it at the speed of what is expected of venture-backed businesses. You're really just doing it in a way that's the speed of nature, which I really like. Now, hopefully you can see that if your business isn't aligned with the life you want, it's time to make some changes. After all, I don't believe we were put on this earth just to slave away at our businesses and die. I believe we can have a successful business and life. We just can't do it with fogginess about what we want or alone, which leads me to step number 3. Once you know what you want, the next step is figuring out what's keeping you stuck and who you need to draft to your all-star team. So ask yourself, what am I really good at? What is my superpower? What do I enjoy the most in my business? Conversely, what's draining me the most? What tasks, systems, or responsibilities are keeping me stuck and feeling, like you see them on your to-do list and you're like, oh, I'm gonna leave that one to the end of the day. What are those things that you really hate doing? And then one of my favorite questions to ask is, am I creating leaders in my business? Do I have players who can run with me or worker bees? Now, hear me when I say this. Both are essential, but the key here is you cannot manage worker bees. If you want freedom, the math just doesn't work, especially as a business owner. The only people you get to manage are players. Let the players manage the worker bees. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I've done several episodes on players and worker bees. So just go search the library and it will open up your eyes to how to build a high-performing team. So if you want freedom, then you need real and raw clarity about what you're spending your time on and who you have on your team. I so often think we go through our days and do so much, quote unquote, but never feel like we're making progress, mostly because we are doing a lot of busy work, not deep work. So start tracking your time and see where you're getting bogged down. I have a really wonderful Excel spreadsheet, which is one of my love languages, that's the task transition audit. And essentially, I put the task, I put how much time it takes, how often I do it, how it makes me feel, if I want to keep it, if I want to delegate it, if I want to outsource it, if maybe I need to delete it by automating it or something like that, or just simply not doing it anymore. Trust me, when you have the clarity on all the things that you're actually doing day to day, it will paint an amazing pattern of pictures that will allow you to extricate yourself faster than you imagine, because you can start putting them together and seeing who would be better than you to do them. Now, Dan Martell, one of my favorite authors, talks about the buyback loop, a process where you identify those low-value tasks, delegate them, and replace that time with high-value work or personal freedom. This is the goal, guys. Using the investment in your team to create the freedom you want to spend it in the business and in your life on your terms. And let's not forget his 80% rule is pure gold. 80% done by someone else is 100% awesome. This is where so many entrepreneurs get stuck. They hold on to everything because they think no one can possibly do it as well as I can. No one's going to care as much as I do. And while that might be true in some things, most things someone else is doing are their strength, which means they can do it so much better than you. Which I know sometimes triggers a lot of us, that the idea of somebody not doing it as well as you, but actually doing it better. But trust me, perfection is the enemy of progress. If you want freedom, you have to start letting go. I call this mastering the art of letting go without losing control. One of the key pillars in the work that I do with my clients. Now, speaking of teams and letting go, before we dive into the next bit, I want to take a second to share with you something that I've seen drastically change businesses and teams for the better. Imagine waking up every morning with a team that knows exactly what is expected of them and how to achieve success without you having to micromanage them. Imagine how much time and dollars you will save by hiring the right team member from the start. Not to mention getting the most out of every current member of your team. That is what's possible with our tried and tested tool, the Golden Key Scorecard. The scorecard is a simple, impactful, and fillable tool for managing your team, ditching inefficiency, and I guarantee will help you stop playing whack-a-mole chasing team docs all over the place. It's as easy as filling out a form. If you want to get out from under your business, shifting from business operator to business owner, and take your business to the next level while reclaiming your time, then our Golden Key Scorecard is just the ticket. Our scorecard provides the time-tested framework and process to get you and your team out of the weeds and into a well-oiled machine that can scale without you. It's time for you to run your business instead of the other way around. Become an expert in this critical piece of the foundation to creating a high-performing team. Download the Golden Key Scorecard for free at goldenkeypartnership.com/go. Now back to the show. All right, so if you're feeling stuck, exhausted, and wondering if this business is even worth it anymore, I want you to know something. You're not failing. This is completely natural and all you are is waking up. Waking up to the fact that the business you built might not be the business you actually want, and that's okay. Because now you have the opportunity to change it, to renovate it before you accidentally burn it and yourself to the ground. So take the time, step back, get clear, and start making the changes that will actually set you free. Because this is the first step to finally getting out from underneath your business, knowing what kind of business you actually want and how you'll spend your time dancing with it. All right, that's it for this week's episode. If this episode spoke to you, I would love to hear from you. What resonated most or what surprised you? Send me a DM on Instagram at It's Lauren Goldstein or LinkedIn or wherever you hang out on the interwebs, and let's talk about it. And if you know another business owner who's feeling trapped in their own business, please send this episode their way. Let's help more entrepreneurs find true entrepreneurial freedom. Lastly, if you got value from today's conversation, please subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. It helps us reach more business owners who need to hear this message. All right, thanks for listening. Until next time. Thank you for listening to the Biz Doctor podcast. Now, I like to say that friends don't let friends WebMD your business. So if you're wondering what your next steps could be, here are some options for you. No matter what, head to the show notes or to my website, goldenkeypartnership.com, for some impactful resources to support you getting out from under your business. That's also where you'll find the links to learn more about our services and how we support business owners, just like you, who are ready to make the successful jump from business operator in the trenches to visionary business owner with more freedom and flexibility. All of that info is on our website, so pop on over to learn more or get in touch. goldenkeypartnership.com. Finally, if you love the Biz Doctor podcast, I'd be so grateful if you would share it with your friends and network and give us a 5-star rating or review wherever you listen to your podcast.
This is Story Studio Network.